Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another Mindcraft discussion on this glorious day. Got some woods hair going on there. I hope you can see. Oh, he left. No, he's out there. There's this mallard couple. The husband's right there. I don't know where the wife is. You can tell because it's not fair in bird world, because the men folk get all the colors, We've got four blue jays on our deck right now, just gorgeous, just regal, bright blue. The ladies in the bird world don't get as much. We have a hummingbird couple too. They don't get as much. The ladies don't get as much color. But anyway, oh, there he is. So my name is Kimberly Quinn, and that's Giovanni, and we are here to have a talk about our own sense of meaning and purpose. All begins with the breath. And I have to tell you, I was listening to my dear friend Oprah. She's just not aware of our friendship. And she was just talking about this whole idea of it all starts with the breath. And obviously that sounds obvious. That's a total double, because if we're not breathing, then, it's all not happening for us right now. So anyway, the whole idea of the breath in just taking the time to quiet the mind, just to breathe deeply. I tell you, right in this spot where I am at the notch, I do a lot of 4-4-8 breathing. So that means holding in 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then hold 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and then up to 8 1,000. I just stop at various spots along the trail and do that. And it just reminds me that I'm alive, for one, the gift of this new day, that this is all possible. Again, another chance to get it right. Another chance to experience joy, and it's just so great. So I think that she's really, excuse me, a little itch, quite right about that that's where it all starts. And it comes right back down to, I talk about this a lot, that all of life, all of what we're talking about, I just got to fix this. This is G's leash. I put around my neck to hold it because I don't want to hold it. There he is right there. All of life and what we're talking about, it comes down to self-value, because you can't, let's say self-care wise, you can't take care of yourself. What'd you find there, G? It's going to be very muddy in the Jeep. You can't take care of yourself you don't value. You can't be kind to a self you don't value. It's difficult to love a self you don't value. And so it all really comes down to knowing our own value. And in general, because if we don't love ourselves, we can't love other people. That's why the value thing, knowing our own value, is up here. It's difficult to keep ourselves filled up if we don't know our own value. We can't give what we don't have, so it's like a trickle down. So that really sort of stayed with me when Oprah was talking about, it all starts with the breathing, because, a deep intentional breath, obviously to breathe keeps us alive. We're talking about intentional, deep breathing. Who was talking about this? Oh, the Wilhelm effect. Will himself was talking about how breathing sort of takes the mind to a whole nother place, and it's huge. And I'm also thinking of Loretta LaRoche. She's since passed, though. I loved her. She was one of my favorite comedians ever, and she did all of her work had a theme with stress, meaning, purpose, forgiveness, let it go, optimism, things like that. She didn't just talk about anything. It was all sort of positive psychology oriented. And when she would do it, and she was obviously hysterical. She's a comedian, to me, she was even more funny, because she was talking about life things, regular life things that, we can all relate to on one level or another, in one way or another. And I think it's in her, I almost said reel, but this is back in the day. I actually had her on VHS. That's how far back she goes. And then she kept doing her work for decades and decades and decades, and just passed at 90-something. Wow, did she bring a lot to the world. So Loretta LaRoche, I think it was in her, let's just say, video on the joy of stress. And she did this funny thing, but talking about the whole breathing thing. When you wake up, and just say thank you right away, which is what I've done for years. I do 2 thank yous. I do thank you right out the bay window, and that's just for this other gift, another gift of a new day. I don't care if it's sunny or it's raining. Today happens to be a bluebird. But whether it's raining, that's another type of day where I'm more pensive and this and that. And just be, but I don't say all that. I just say thank you. Then I swing around when my feet hit the floor, my happy feet. I just say thank you. And I'm thinking about my vertebrae intact. Thank God. Feet work, arms work, legs work, eyes can see, ears can hear. I can touch and set, I can take in all the senses in my environment. Thank you. I don't say any of that. It's just thank you, thank you. So she talks about that. And then she talks about, being thankful for our breath, that we have another day. So here's the thing. And then she's funny because she says, think of the alternative, and then she says, just look in the mirror and say, oh my God, you're back. You are back. And we think about it like that. That's so simple, yet it's so profound. Right, G? Because that, there are no guarantees. There's all kinds of cliches out there about live this minute like it could be your last. And, and there's memes and things like that. In reality, though, I think it was Malachi McCourt who said that, brother of Frank McCourt, who wrote Angela's Ashes, a very good book. Malachi said with his lovely Irish accent, about that whole living your day like it might be your last. He says, because one day you'll be right. and it's really, really true. And I liked how Oprah just took something so simple like breathing and making it sort of the good place to start with that. If you're not feeling like you're valuing yourself and you're, just starting out on this path, maybe you had stuff, you inevitably had stuff happen as a child, or you probably wouldn't have to struggle as much with valuing yourself, because when we're born as little babies, we just pop out into this world all wet and, squishy and full of love. And, babies know their worthiness. They are born knowing their worthiness. We are all born knowing our worthiness, and then something happens. And so I would say with the whole breathing thing, there are all kinds of things on all kinds of different ways on the internet. You can look them up. For me, I like the short and sweet. I like things that I can do anywhere, like in the Jeep, in a boring meeting, out in the woods, whatever. And the 448 for me works like a charm. I mean, I do it right here, actually, right almost exactly here. It's not a plan or anything. It's just kind of, condition. It becomes a habit. And sometimes up a ways, I'll stop again, middle of the trail, in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 1,000, because if you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not really 4 seconds. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, hold to 4 1,000, and then out for 8 1,000, because research has shown over and over that the longer exhale is even more calming for the mind than other forms of, or other ways to breathe deeply. Another one that I do, it's difficult with holding the cell phone camera, but take 5. So just your hand, you can have your hand, again, boring meeting, works great. You can have your hand right on your thigh, under the table, on the table, maybe under the table, if you don't want people guessing, or just fill them in. You're calming your mind down, like good for you. And what you do is you go up the thumb, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, then backwards, 3 1,000, 2 1,000, 1 1,000, and then up the index finger, all like that. So take 5. No one has to know what you're doing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Or you can just tell them, I am breathing deeply. I am calming my mind while I'm listening to whatever said boring thing going on. You don't have to say that part. I'm calming my mind, and by doing so, I am making a deposit in my self-esteem bank, my self-value bank, because I'm taking care of myself. And I'm not making light of that, because for many people, it's much easier to take care of other people than it is to take care of themselves. And they often get caught up in thinking, oh, that, isn't that good? I'm caring about someone's happiness more than my own. No, it isn't good. It's codependent is what it is. Because codependency, obviously it's good to be a good person. Codependency has zero to do with being a good person. It's addiction. And so what we need to do, since we cannot give what we don't have, is work really hard at keeping ourselves filled up, which means, again, to know your value. And we can start by really, really small, taking deep breaths, and that leads. So I wasn't joking about the self-esteem bank thing, because if it is hard for you to take care of yourself, because you're working, we're all work in progress. But let's say you're just starting out with the self-value thing. That small baby step of doing the deep breathing and taking that time for yourself, even if it's literally a matter of 3 to 5 seconds, that is a start. And you should just tell yourself, you're awesome, you did it. You did something good for yourself, even though it may not have felt comfortable, because you're used to not being treated well. We can all get comfortable with not being treated well if that was a pattern of behavior that we had going on for a long time. So the breathing and these breathing techniques, and there are more. You can look at them. Most of them are pretty short, actually. I've got a whole bunch. I do an Okinawan breathing technique too, but I can't show you that and hold the camera at the same time. So maybe I'll do another one with the tripod at some point. But these little tiny breathing techniques can really get us going on our way to knowing our value and keeping ourselves filled up. And then you are off and running. Because once you learn to value yourself and keep yourself filled up, you've got everything to give the world. Everything to give the world. It all starts here. You got to win from within first. Okay, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Notch in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.